Hey everybody, today I'll be tapering some tangs, so I thought I would just run you through the process. But first, I just want to thank you all for watching and for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As you can see here, I will be using a 10-inch wheel with a 50 grit abrasive belt. I will be using this to hog out most of the material in the tang before I actually go to the step of tapering that tang. Here you can see me fumbling around with this jig. Basically it has two pins that will fit through the bolt holes in the handle of the knife, allowing me to hold the jig and not the knife, and keeping my hands cooler while I'm working. Alright, let's do this. Get this going here. Alright, we've got the lines marked out on the butt of the knife. We've got the check grinds ground to that point so I know how deep I'll be going without going too far. Then I'm just going to start off by hitting just the butt cap at a steep angle. I'm actually working the knife at the angle that I want it to have the taper at. You can see that kind of creating a triangle there. I'm going to work the point of the triangle towards that top bolt hole. Let's see if I can, you can see me holding it at an angle there. I'm just working it back and forth, and here we go. You can see that that's kind of a rounded point there, and I'm getting that rounded point to go towards this bolt hole right here. I am taking the material away down to the point of that line on the butt of the knife, and then working that depth out towards the bolt hole. Obviously you can see that it's going over the edges there on the sides of the handle. That's good. That's how you know you're actually going to be removing material and getting that taper started before you even move to the platen. Alright, so I'm just continually working that level at the butt end of the knife until I can move that level all the way towards the edge. You can actually see where it's flat here, and then it got that little taper. It's just changing the angle slightly. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Very steamy. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and flip this over, and then we'll repeat the process on the other side of the knife. Once again, in the beginning, I'm just taking that first bite and taking it down to where it is even with the marks that I left on the butt of the knife. So I'll keep doing this until I have remove the material down to that line, and then I can start moving that rounded point of the triangle back towards the first bolt hole. You can see here I am just now starting to move it up towards that bolt hole. Just working that area. Just pushing it slowly. You can see me shoving it in there. And there you can see I'm practically there. And at this point you want to widen that top section. And you can, if you pay attention, you'll be able to see when I start doing that. I'll start doing a little bit different hand movement. Getting pretty close here. Yep, right there. You see the point of the knife moving towards the machine as I'm rotating it, and I'm rounding this out. I'm going to take that round edge all the way out to the sides of the knife handle. And there you go. Just like that. After that, we can move to the platen. Right now I'm just smoothing and blending everything back together real quickly. Alright, so here we go. We've got the flat, and then it tapers on both sides. You can see it tapering already, and we haven't even started hitting it on the platen yet. And then from the center you can see that it is concave towards the center. Alright, so here I'm just doing the exact same thing on these other knives in the batch. I thought I'd just throw in a little time-lapse clip so you can see the movements and all the stuff that I'm doing here repeated over and over. At first it's a little intimidating tapering tangs, but once you get used to it, it's just the same as anything else. It's just another step. Alright, here we are actually tapering the tang. I'm going to start towards the butt of the knife. I'm going to remove a large portion of material off that finger drop on the back of the knife you can see there. Mostly that part, since it sticks out further, is going to be up higher than the backside of the handle. So you'll want to try to focus on that part a little bit at first, but then once it's flat, you just keep even pressure across the whole part of the knife. As you can see, I'm starting at the top of the platen with just the butt of the knife in contact, and I'm working these little areas, these flat areas, and working them together towards the bottom, and then I'll move them up the sides towards the top of the knife. So I start at the top of the platen and then start slowly dropping the knife down, and by working the butt of the knife down the platen, you are working the grinds up the handle of the knife. Alright, so here you can see that I've come across all the way to the bottom, and I'm working those 2 points up towards one flat area at the bottom of the guard. Come back and I'll just start cleaning all that up. I start at the top of the platen, slide it down, just like that, do it again, and then I'll just push it in and really work it. You can see I'm kind of sliding it back to forth. I'm using the whole width of the belt, using all the grit available on the belt, and here we go. Got a nice flat line right across the top. The lines are long and they shoot all the way from the top down to the bottom. One long line, all moving in one direction from the top to the bottom. No secondary facets, all one smooth flat piece. Going to do the exact same thing to the other side now. Going to focus mostly on that finger drop at first and remove a large portion of that finger drop material. A little bit on the other side, and what we're going to do now is once again work the butt of the knife to get it nice and flat and get down to where that line is so that we know we're at the point that we want to be at our final dimensions on the bottom of the knife, just like so. And then we'll work these 2 side points up the knife until we reach the top and they connect. Well, I guess they don't need to connect as long as they get both up to the top at the same point and it's semi-flat, you're pretty good. Here we go. So we've got a little facet there you can see. That's no good. Thumbs down. So we'll move back. We'll focus right on where that facet is. You can see there's a line there. Where those two lines meet is the peak. You want to hit that peak and work it down to both the butt cap and the top by the guard. So you can see we've got most of it out, but there's still a little line there. So we'll take it back and we'll just keep grinding that spot down until the facet is gone and we just have one nice flat surface for the handle material to sit up against. Not quite done. Alright, looks pretty good. Lines are starting at the top and they go all the way down to the bottom. And this is a tapered tang. Both sides flattened down to the center point. Just go ahead and finish it up. Here we go, doing the same thing to the other knives in the batch. Looks like a mini wilderness subhilt, and then we've got a boot knife subhilt, the baby bear, and a New York special. There we go. You go junior bear, tapered tang. That is based off the Dixon pattern. This is the sub-hilt version of the Dixon pattern. We have the mini bear, or the mini wilderness version of a sub-hilt pattern, or the sub-hilt version of a mini wilderness pattern, I guess. And then we have the, let's see, sub-hilt version of the boot knife, which is called the baby bear. And then we have the New York special. New York special is probably one of the most iconic loveless patterns that there is. Up there with the shoot knife and the drop point. Very classy design. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. I want to thank you for watching and listening.